Hello, everybody. This is our next session of the Faster EFT Fireside Chats. Got it right this time.
Welcome. Very good.
And today we're going to discuss something which I'm sure lots of you have experience with, and that is getting sick. You know, there's germs all around. People do get sick. Nothing to do about it, whether it's the stress, whether it's your genes, whether it's the germs. Germs are there. They do affect you. You might be more inclined to get sick, less inclined to get sick, depending on your psychological state or your emotional state.
Stress levels will suppress the immune system, or that's what they say anyway. And I tend to agree with that in this case, because I hadn't had this sort of bronchial this stuff going on for a long, long time, and then it just hit me. And when it did, it was just hard, and bam.
Well, why don't you tell us when it happened and what was going on a little bit?
Okay, Wednesday, I felt something, and it was I knew it was gonna send me to the doctor's office, and I wasn't sure. I was having some pain, and at that time, I was under a bit of stress that had been untapped, I think. Two different things going on, so I didn't exactly know, but I tried to veer it off. It just wasn't happening. And my daughter had been to a birthday party, and somebody there had been sick, and so she didn't get it like I did, so I started tapping the second day, because the first day, Thursday, it was pretty bad, and I just slept. Everyone was so gracious, and I really appreciated that. All of the clients and practitioners that I had planned to see that week, so understanding, because in my mind I still have that thing like, I hate to have to cancel. So anyway. So, and that probably made the stress just a little, or maybe a lot, more so. And it put me in a bit of fear. So I tapped on the fear of, the what ifs I have in my head. Like, what if this lasts for a week? What if it lasts for, and what I did was I had to start a round of antibiotics. I didn't have a choice on that, because, it was an infection. It was very bad. And so when I discovered that, I began them, immediately. I knew what was going to happen. And I'm very lucky. I was able to make up 2 sessions yesterday, was today, that I had planned already. Well, one was a reschedule. So the fear that was driving that, and I think that in my case, it did suppress my immune system. But when I'm in that state of being ill, I do have fearful thoughts, like, what if it's a virus, or what if it, because of my background with fibromyalgia and Epstein-Barr and all of these things. And it's kind of silly if I look back at it and think about that, because now I feel, I don't sound as great as I'd like to, but I feel really pretty good. Almost better than I did before I got sick. And I think it kind of builds up. And after a while, there's a lady that does a video. Teal Scott does one on getting sick, or what to do when you're sick, or something. I think that's what it's called, what to do when you're sick. And she talks about how this stuff builds up. And so as we're purging all of the stuff that's been collecting over so long, and that's exactly how I feel, almost like a renewed mind, a renewed body, and taking care of myself on a physical level. And I discontinued all dairy and meat, which right now for me, for right now, especially the dairy. So yeah, I started tapping the second day, and got better pretty quicker than I thought it would. But it was 3 days. It was really, really rough. That Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Saturday started getting really on the mend and feeling better. So, but I thought it would be a good topic because there are a lot of a lot of people in our line and doing what we do. I know there's different opinions, of course, and there's the opinion that you attracted this into your life, and I just don't think that is. I don't think that that's valid for me. It's not my truth anyway. So,
well, I don't think that you're attracting it into your life. I think that basically you're under stress, your immune system has gone down, and then you're more susceptible to catching it.
Sure.
Because the germs are there. Germs are real. Germs do create sickness. If you're susceptible, you're going to get it. If you're not susceptible, you're not going to get it. You didn't attract the sickness. You just had the stress that allowed it in.
Right. And there are those who would say, well, you're producing, it's in there just waiting or something, like, oh, what's been going on in your life or, that kind of thing. And I don't think that that's really, like you were saying, the germs may very well play a huge part in that. And in my case, I think it did.
Right. But at the same time, it could be that if you had been tapping out the stress before you got sick.
And that was also, so I'm very mindful of it now. And I've done a couple of the self intakes. Dave Ryder has a good one. It's very good, as a matter of fact. Once you get familiar with it, it's really easy to apply, not just to yourself, but you can use it on other people. And so it's an intake. I don't know if I know that he shared it at a training, and it was passed on to me. But so getting in touch with those things and that fear, was fearful.
It's also, I studied reflexology for a year, and one of the things which sickness, all different kinds of sicknesses come to tell you is take time for yourself, lie down, rest, de-stress. So
I think that's one that I really should be more mindful of.
Right.
You want to give of yourself, and you want to do things for others, and then you get like you're not doing anything. You're just going to take care of yourself.
So the basic message here is number one, tap when you're stressed, so that you don't get to the stage where you're susceptible for the germs. And if you already got to the point where you have the germs, you might not be able to tap at the very beginning because you might be too out of it. But once you do get to tap, it's not going to make the disease or the sickness go away like that. But it will help it heal faster. It will help us heal your body.
There was a turning point, and I remember this. I'm laying in bed, and I just thought, oh, everything I had to do, and all of these things. And then I thought, and my friends were sending me messages, just get rest, get well, take care of you, and all of that. But tapping, and that I totally 100% accepted that and just surrendered to whatever was going on within me. And I don't think I've ever, well, I won't say never, but so it's like all of that worry just dropped, and it was pretty, like, oh, because if you have new clients, you don't want to represent like that. So so it gave me a very clear and a very good message for how to proceed now, to take that time, So and it's vital, especially in our line of work. I think it's really important because we represent what we do. So but it's great, and so there was a huge shift and it gets the whole surrender thing.
The other
worry.
important thing, in my opinion, is people tend to show their stress in specific ways that repeats itself. So someone will always get the stomach aches. Someone will always get the bronchitis. Someone will always get the strep throat. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that the old thing that caused it is still alive. It could be a new stress that comes, and that's just the way you represent your stress.
Sure.
So the message is, get rid of the stress. It's time to work on your stress.
This was a lung thing. And, we hold grief there. Right. And so I went to, okay, what am I, and there is something in my life that I had been grieving about, and on a pretty deep level for a very long time, and it's not something I can change. So I have to completely be okay with that, and it's difficult to do that. It's and I try to just when that energy comes in, to do different things, and I've incorporated a couple different things since right before I got sick, and thought maybe, could this have anything to do with it? I started doing Eric's, what is it called? The polarity reversal. And I started doing that. And I didn't expect this. I didn't expect anything really. And then the first time I did it, I was going through something. I'd been tapping, and it was budging, but it just didn't still feel right. So like there was something there, and whatever's there, whatever's left, and right. Let it go. And so I did those, and do you know, immediately, my changed states like that. Meredith was sitting there, and I remember when it hit me, because I did them, and I said this will just take a couple minutes, and it might look weird. So, but it's not. It's a good thing. So, and it just takes literally, it's just like a couple minutes. So, so I did these. And she kind of looked at me when I'm doing the marching, and wondering why I'm pushing up on my, yeah. So and those things, and she's like, okay, like kids do. So but I finished them. I didn't think anything of it, and I sat down and we were talking, and I thought, wait a minute, that little bit of funk that was left in me, it's not even there, and I'm trying to find it. I'm like, well, what? I couldn't even remember what it was. And so it was really, really cool. So I was like, yay, I found another tool. Anyway, I think, and also the trauma release exercises, I had done them last week. I hadn't done them since, and I usually do them just once a week, or 5-10 minutes here and there. And I just started doing that because I was doing the whole thing. So I don't know if it loosened something up that was in there, emotion-wise, Right. There's the people that are not in touch with their emotions, as I was, it is layers. It's like layers of a cake, and you get in touch with that, and there's this you can have a big shift in the very beginning of practicing these healing modalities, and then from there were other things that were happening, and I'm trying not to just not be conscious about it. It's not but to be aware, but not trying to think my way out of it. Right. So but that surrender was really, really very, very good. And it just like that. And I had been tapping on the fear or the worry, like, when should I reschedule work? Because I was in such a state of mind in that illness, mm-hmm. in that time of illness, the second day and the third day that I really, had the fear, but, and it was almost like I couldn't schedule anything. I couldn't reschedule because I knew I might not remember. I was just not with it. My equilibrium was off and everything. So, but it's just interesting how we
process things.
It really is. So I learned a whole lot and applied a whole lot more. So much better. So
good. So till next time, happy tapping.
Happy tapping. Peace out.
Have a great week.